to promote our program in the highest level. Quest right there is an acronym, Quality Understanding Education, Sports, and Team. Listen, at the end of the year, we had one large awards night. And we picked out just certain awards. You know, our teams had their individual banquets at the end of their seasons, but we had one big athletic night. And this was our ESPYs. We had it in the auditorium. We teamed up with our media department. We teamed up with our theater department. We teamed up with our ASB. Our athletes came dressed. We had two large big screens in front of the auditorium. And as an athlete was recognized for something, we created categories to recognize our athletes in the program. As they're walking up, they're being shown on the big screen. Our ASB was selling baked goods out in front of the auditorium. We did it at night. Our parents were there. Our athletes had to dress up. Huge community event. People look forward to it. Our mayor gave out the Athlete of the Year award. We got the city council involved. We wanted the whole community involved. As a principal, I wanted our AD to send me a short summary of what happened in the past season and a preview of what we can expect in the upcoming season. I just needed the information because as the principal, I am always out at different events. And you always have people coming up to you and asking you about things that you should know about. This was one way for me to know a lot more about what's going on in athletics than I could personally go out and see. Teach your coaches to always front load you. Even if the situation doesn't seem to be a big deal. You guys tell me if you've ever been in this position. I'm at home on a Wednesday evening around 8 o'clock, just finished dinner, relaxing with the family, and I get a phone call. I get a phone call from the superintendent who's asking me about a kid that got hurt in a freshman soccer game the day before. And the game was away. So I said, not sure. Give me 5 minutes. I'll call you back. Call the athletic director. Had no idea. Called the freshman coach, soccer coach. Freshman soccer coach said, what are you talking about? Yeah, the kid got kicked in the game, went down, got back up, took him to the sideline, iced him up. They walked to the bus, everything was fine. Well, in his mind, everything was fine. That particular student was the son of a board member. Right? So now, that simple situation turned into the opposing team was intentionally going after our kids. They didn't like their kid, and they were kicking their kid, and while the kid was down, the referees didn't do anything, the coach didn't do anything, the athletic director didn't do anything, and your principal hasn't done anything. Well, had we known about it in advance, we could have prepped everyone in advance. Now we're trying to put out a forest fire. Right? A situation that was nothing turned into something. Helicopter parents, they don't operate by themselves. No. They start off alone, but then they recruit other people. And so the situation that I just explained to you, that situation turned into a huge deal. A lot of people involved, PTA parents involved, everyone is involved. Why are we in the league with this team? A lot of those people had no reason, no understanding why they were upset. They just knew this was something we needed to fight. So you have to protect yourself by getting out in front of that, right? Tryout. When I was the principal, I wanted to know the process, and at the very least, our athletic director to have the process for tryouts. Because you know as well as I do, there is going to be a parent that says that their kid did not get a fair chance. Or the parent is going to say the coach has already put it out there that my kid is not going to make the team. So I want to take subjectivity out of it. I want as many eyes there as possible. I want to see how you're going to try these kids out. And our coaches could not have a tryout with only one coach. We need to have several eyes there for their tryouts. And for me, I just wanted to know that either the athletic director or myself, somebody had the process in advance. We could never dismiss a student from a team. You can never dismiss a student from a team until you've spoken to the athletic director and the athletic director has weighed in. And the first question the athletic director is going to ask, what did you do to rectify the situation? Because when you sit down with that parent, you want to have all of the information. And the last thing you want is for that student to be dismissed, and now you've got to prepare to meet with the parent. You want to prepare to meet with the parent before you dismiss the kid from the team. And you want the athletic director at the very least in on that, and our ADs would send me a note saying, you know, Johnny is going to be released from this team because of this. I met with the coach. Here are the things that they've done. And I have that just, you know, in our school district, parents, when you say no, sometimes that was just the beginning of the conversation. So you needed to make sure that you had all of your information. You know, teacher and coach's concerns. You know, one other thing I want to say before I move on. I had a coach who had a rule. If you miss practice, you miss a game. Great. A lot of coaches have that rule. But this particular coach determined which game you missed. So they had a kid on their team that they, you know, probably didn't particularly like. And that player missed a game. And then this coach had one of their superstars miss a game. Miss a practice. The practice that the superstar missed, her punishment was missing a nondescript, non-league away game. The other kid missed a league game. The parent came in to see me and was talking about how unfair it was that her kid was going to miss or have a chance of missing all league because of this situation, when the other kid wasn't put in that position. So with all of my meetings, I told the parent, listen, I'll get back with you. I hear what you're saying, and I need to talk to the coach and look into the situation. And I couldn't get to that coach quick enough. And I met with the coach. I let her tell me exactly what she was doing. And she had too many rules. She had like 15 rules. The more rules you have, the better chance of backing yourself into a corner. And then B, take the subjectivity out of it. You miss a practice, you miss the next game. Or you miss the first half of the next game. You're setting yourself up. And you know, we're in a time where you need to be as transparent as possible, right? So those are conversations that the athletic director and the principal must be willing to have. Teacher concerns. When you have a teacher that's saying, listen, I have the coach and kids coming to me and saying that I have to pass this kid, otherwise the kid is not going to be eligible for the playoff game, that's a problem. If you have coaches going to a teacher about a grade or about in any way pressuring a teacher to change a grade, it's time to get rid of that coach. First-year players. And if you're not doing it, make sure that you start doing it. Anytime a kid is not on your team the year before, check their paperwork. Find out where that kid was last season. Because we have kids that are moving into schools now mid-school year. So if you have a kid that comes in January but played football at school A, and then they come in and play football at school B, and they say, well, I've been here. I came into school last year. But you played football for school A last year. There's paperwork that needs to be submitted. And the last thing you want to do is be in a position where you're explaining to your community why you're forfeiting games or not going to the playoffs because you had an ineligible player, simply because you didn't fill out the paperwork. So now I recommend that all coaches, if the kid was not on your team, not in the school, not on your team, you complete the paperwork and send it to the CIF office, right? And personally contact the former school if they did play for another school. And if you have 20, 24, if you have a great number of transfers coming into your school, That's a red flag. Your coaches might not be recruiting, but somebody is. Look into it. Okay. Football, basketball players get everything. How many of you heard that? Right? Well, you can help the situation by having your football and basketball players support other programs. Have them go to other events. You know, I would have the athletic department every single time we had a school play, whether it was the winter play, the spring musical, fall play. As a department, we want all our kids to go one night to one of those plays. So for each of those plays, we're going one night. And we want to be seen. We want the school to know that we're supporting other programs. Encourage your coaches to support other programs. Invite your AD to admin meetings. Have them come in, even if it's only for 5 minutes each week. Let them be able to explain to you what's coming up, you know, what's going on, what's coming up in the upcoming events. You're going to have a big rivalry against some school, or maybe not. It's not a rivalry, but something happened between two kids from opposing schools, and we might need more security. So you want to have that input. Implement accountability measures, just like we talked about with transfers. You got to have a meeting so that you can just ask the question. How many kids did we have transfer in this year? How many are in the sit-out? How many were bona fide change of addresses? Have we checked with our counselors? Are the addresses correct? Right? Periodic meetings to discuss coaches' evaluations. Parent concerns. Immediately address all safety issues. Believe me, if you have a safety issue and you don't address it, it's coming back to you, Mr. Principal, or Miss Principal. Right? Athletic trainers, we'll talk about in the next session, but it is unbelievable that nearly 80% of the schools in the state of California and in our section don't have full-time athletic trainers. That is, and we'll talk about it later, but that's something that needs to be addressed like today. Update your Board of Education. We talked about, as a principal, sending a note to your superintendent to send on to the board about things that have happened that are good. I mean, that's invaluable. Every time you can put something, because those board members are walking around town and there are people that are talking to them, and you're equipping them with information that can protect your program. Implement programs to promote your student athletes. We talked about that with the Quest Awards, sending those emails off to the superintendent to forward on to the board. You must have a united front with tough issues. The three people we talked about, AD, assistant principal in charge of athletics, the principal. You guys want to be a united front. You know that parents and students will play you against each other, right? You got to communicate. Coaches will use their parents to get what they want. You guys know that, right? If a coach wants something, they're not hearing the answers they want, they leak it to their parents. And then the parents go through the superintendent, the board, whoever, to come after you. We ended up having to let a coach go because of that. You know, we have to make sure that we're united front and we're doing what's right. It's hard to consistently satisfy all stakeholders. It's hard to do that. And the one way that you can hurt yourself is if you're not a united front, because stakeholders are looking for that crack, especially the ones that are unhappy. Right? And then play as a team. You know, I spent my entire career, and I continue to do so today. Any and everything that I do it to win. It makes no sense to me to get up in the morning and just go do something because I'm supposed to do it. If I am going to do something, I am going to do it to win, to be the absolute best. And everyone around me, I expect the exact same thing. And I can tell, you guys know, winners can tell if you're not a winner, right? They can tell those people that are just there just to be there. And if you're one of those people around me, you're not going to be around me much longer. So that's the kind of attitude that you want in your athletic director, your assistant principal over athletics. You want people that are playing to win, and I guarantee you it'll trickle down throughout your community. I think that's it. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I'll take them now. Ooh. Pretty good job.
Let's give Carter a big round. we'll be starting the next session at 10:15.